What is going on, deck builders? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Tech Arcade. Today we're going to be honing in on the father of all vampires, Edgar Markov. This is a blindingly fast, aggressive deck with a few tricks up its sleeve. So without further ado, deck builders, let's deck tech. Edgar's biggest asset and most annoying trait is the fact that he can make an impact on the battlefield without actually being on it. Every single time we cast a vampire, we get a free 1/1 black vampire token. Obviously, this incentivizes us to cast as many vampires as we can. Vampires also have plenty of lords and tribal synergy in general. This means oftentimes our 1/1 tokens aren't going to be 1/1 for very long. But when it comes to aggro decks, they are incredibly susceptible to board wipes and removal in general. Understandably, your playgroup isn't going to be too happy about you amassing an army of angry vampires, so you need to have plenty of ways to rebuild after the inevitable board wipe. I also understand that to a lot of people out there, casting vampires over and over again is pretty boring. So to spice things up, I've added in some awesome non-vampire creatures and a really cool combo to help finish things off a little faster. Our mana curve is so low that we don't need a lot of mana rocks, we just need good mana rocks that can help us color fix. Speed is critical to the success of this deck. We can't wait till turn 3 or 4 to start playing vampires. We need spells that have a low cost and make an impact immediately. With an aggressive strategy like this, it is not uncommon to run out of cards in a hurry. That's why I've really focused on including powerful card draw spells in this deck. The vast majority of our spells are 1 or 2 mana to cast, which means Dark Confidant and Ad Nauseam can put in some serious work. You have to be willing to give up some life in the pursuit of ultimate power, otherwise you'll be watching other people play from the sidelines. Like it is in most decks, but especially here, Skull Clamp is an absolute powerhouse. Oftentimes, 2 extra cards in your hand will be a lot more valuable than another 1/1 vampire. I'm also a huge fan of creatures like Timna the Weaver that reward us with extra cards for being aggressive. Champion of Dusk and Twilight Prophet are great adds here as well. They reward us for playing aggressively in the early game and getting a lot of vampires onto the battlefield. Phyrexian Arena is great for those long, grindy games. It can generate us some serious value over time. Wheel of Fortune is an auto-include here. It can turn an empty hand into a brand new amazing hand. Being aggressive is great, but our main objective here is to combo off, and if we're going to do that with any sort of consistency, we need powerful tutor spells. I definitely understand that as powerful as these tutor spells are, they oftentimes come with a very high price tag, and not everybody can swing the money for that, but don't worry, there are budget-friendly options. Sure, Diabolic Tutor is significantly slower than Vampiric Tutor, but it does the same job. You can also swap out expensive cards like Wheel of Fortune for alternative wheel effects like Magus of the Wheel. Don't let a high price tag get you down. There are plenty of budget-friendly cards out there that can help you maintain card advantage. Seeing as we came to combo out quickly and play aggressively, we need spot removal that deals with threats brutally and efficiently. Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile are perfect for more creature-heavy aggressive metas. However, you might play in a blue-heavy meta or a control meta. In that case, swap these out for Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast. We don't have a lot in the way of targeted removal, so we need spells that have a low cost and are highly effective. I'm also a huge fan of Dusk Dawn. We can use it as a way to wipe out our opponent's bigger creatures and bring our creatures back from our graveyard to our hand. Fire Covenant is an underrated removal spell. For 3 mana and any amount of life, at instant speed, we can take out a ton of our opponent's creatures. In case you didn't know, speed kills. We want a vampire hitting the battlefield on turn 1 every game we play. Ain't nobody got time to wait around. We have vampire things to do like suck blood and burn villages. And of course we have a Serra Ascendant. I don't care that it's not a vampire. It's a 6/6 with flying and lifelink for only 1 mana. Whoever designed this card needs a crisp high five. It isn't about just throwing a bunch of random low-costed vampires in here either. We specifically want to look for vampires that can drain our opponent's life totals, have evasive abilities like flying, and can power up the other vampires around them. The same thing goes for our higher costed vampires. When they show up, they need to make a significant difference. If we're planning on making a significant mana investment into these larger vampires, they need to come in and really put pressure on our opponents. The small vampires are the foundation of the deck. They get the engine started. The large ones like Sanctum Seeker come in and put us far, far ahead or outright finish the game. Don't be sad that Serra Ascendant isn't in your hand. Go and find him with Ranger of Eos. And if you really want to get nasty aggressive, Aroas God of Victory is here to help. All the aggressive vampires in the world can't save us from bigger batter creatures or chump blockers. However, Reconnaissance, Shared Animosity, and Cover of Darkness go a long way to powering up our vampires and helping us push through for lethal combat damage. Bloodchief Ascension and Mind Crank, a match made in heaven, especially in a deck filled with life-draining creatures. The key is to get 3 quest counters on Bloodchief Ascension, which is a lot easier to do than you might think. Now, when you pair it with Mind Crank on the battlefield, if an opponent loses a single point of life, or puts a card into their graveyard from anywhere, they crack a fetch land, a creature dies, anywhere, they lose all of their life and mill their entire library. Brutal, but highly effective. Everything a quality combo should be. Next time on Deck Tech Arcade. I'm your friendly neighborhood host Alex. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And you know what's up. Stay classy, deck builders. I'll see you next time.